Alrighty, here he is. Here I am. Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scotty, guys. Merry Christmas from Australia. Sergio, how are you, mate?
Good. Good day on Christmas Day. How are you? Christmas Eve for us, but how's it going?
I am very good, mate. I'm in my every Christmas. I try to wear something a little bit outrageous to family lunch. This year I've gone leopard print shirt, leopard print shorts. Unfortunately, it is summer in Australia when we have Christmas, but it is pretty miserable today. It's like raining. I think it's probably about 65 degrees for you guys. It's about 18, 17 degrees here. So what can we do, mate? We'll just drink and eat ourselves silly, as usual.
Well, we know who's going to win best dress today.
Always, baby, always. Serge, today we're going to, with the season, we've had 2 days of games. Yesterday, especially, we had a ton of games. We're going to go through our season predictions, but first we're going to have a chat about the results and some of the stats from the games. But before we do, we knew this was going to come at some point. We had our first game postponed for the season with the Rockets and the Thunder postponed. Serge, it was going to happen. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, if Harden's looking for more bad press, this is definitely going to be added to his name. Yeah, I mean, they didn't have enough players to match up, which is crazy. I think that the minimum is 8 players, and Houston didn't even have that.
They're saying that Harden's not the cause for tracing, but I tell you what, it just doesn't look good with all the stuff that's happening. This podcast should be called "What the Hell Has James Harden Done Now?" Because Jesus, man, he's killing this Rockets team.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. They can say whatever they want, but he also got fined $50,000 the same day that this issue happened. So, for being, I think he was at what he was supporting some friend, but it happened to be at a club too. So,
yeah.
So,
we've been obviously seeing this happen in the NFL and baseball as well. They're getting lots of COVID positive tests, and we've had 2 new NBA players, I think, today test COVID. They haven't mentioned who they are. So, fingers crossed this season can just keep pushing through. Yes, 2 days in, and COVID has already taken a game away from us.
Yeah, let's hope it's not something that's going to continue, and we're going to have to back up, because essentially the NBA is already on a very tight schedule, trying to get everything done before the Olympics. So we really don't want to see too many games rescheduled, because it's really going to hurt the teams that go through that. They're going to have to play back-to-backs and whatnot. So hopefully we can get through this season without too many games canceled.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Serge, there's not much news to talk about, because most of the news is revolving around games. I think we had 12 games yesterday, supposed to be 13. So that would have been the whole league would have played 1 game, except for the Rockets and the Thunder. But let's get straight into it. Let's go through the order of how the games are played. The first game, we had the Charlotte Hornets at the Cleveland Cavaliers. It was 44-65 at halftime, with the Cavaliers absolutely smacking them. And the final score was 101-114. Terry Rozier was the big player for the Hornets in this game. He had 42 points, 10 of 16 from three-point range. And Gordon Hayward had 28 points and 7 assists for the Hornets. But wasn't enough. Darius Garland and Colin Sexton combined for 53 points. Andre Drummond had a nice 14-point, 14-rebound double-double. Would you think Cleveland was going to win this game when we had a look?
I mean, I didn't think Cleveland was going to win most of the games they're going to play this year, but, they showed up. They played well, because the Hornets actually had a good showing, a decent showing. Not too much support from bench players, but, I mean, Terry Rozier was a monster, an absolute monster, and I think you kind of left it really clear that he's going to be the starter this year.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, LaMelo Ball had his proper NBA debut and came off the bench. Didn't have a particularly good game. He shot 0 for 5 for 0 points, had 3 assists and 3 turnovers. You can't expect too much from a guy in his first game coming off the bench. I think he's going to improve, but I think a few Hornets fans are probably sitting there scratching their heads.
Yeah, I mean, if it was going to be a hard season, they were hoping that they were going to start the season with a win over Cleveland, one of the teams that's projected to be at the bottom of the rankings.
Yeah, well, that's Cleveland. Cleveland go 1-0 for the season. They're 100%. Cavs fans are licking their chops at the moment. Let's move on. We went to Indiana for the second game for the Knicks taking on the Pacers. Knicks had a nice little lead at halftime, 66-61, but ended up getting blown out a little bit, 107-121. Julius Randle had 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. RJ Barrett had a nice 26 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. But For the Pacers, Sabonis is back, baby. 32 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists. Malcolm Brogdon, a really good game. 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists. And Victor Oladipo, 22 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. I know it's just the Knicks, but you're going to win a few games if those three players are scoring 20 plus a game.
Yeah, it's nice to see RJ Barrett breaking out, having a good game, and Sabonis. Wow, I think Sabonis is going to be in the running for most improved player.
Yeah, it's interesting because he was an all-star last year, and his passing game out of the post is amazing, and he's such a good finisher. He has those old European moves that his dad used to. I think he's a bit better of a scorer than his dad, but man, it's good to see the Pacers get off to a good start. The Knicks was always going to be a tough game against a tough team.
Yeah, 100%. These are both teams. Like I think the Knicks could actually pull it together because they have a beast of a coach with Tibbs, and he's going to be very strict and show them, give them a bit of structure. A lot of young guys on that team, so it's a team we have to give a bit of time.
Yeah, we'll talk quickly about a little bit of stats. Sergio and I will talk about stats a fair bit in this show. At the same time, we'll have a bit more of a chat and explain how some of the stats work, especially the plus, minus, and the PER. But stats do mean a lot. At the same time, it's not everything. The eye test is generally the best way to watch how a player goes, see how they defend. But there's a couple we'll have a chat about a little bit later. But in that game, the Indiana won by 14. They only shot 23.5% from the three-point line. So they weren't great there, but that Knicks team's young. They're going to lose a lot of games this year still.
Yeah, it's going to be a learning process.
It might be a tough year for the Knicks fans, but hey, there's a couple of good picks coming through this year, and if Emmanuel Quickly, Obi Toppin, and RJ Barrett can grow this year, good call.
To be honest with you, it's probably not going to be that tough. The Knicks are kind of used to going through a tough season with the Knicks.
Yeah, true. Those poor Knickerbockers fans. Let's move on. Let's go down to Florida, where we had Miami taking on Orlando in Orlando. Nice close game. It was 53-56 to Orlando at the half, and the final score was 107-113, with Orlando getting the win. Jimmy Butler had 19 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, and 7 steals. Bam Adebayo, nice double-double with 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists. Goran Dragic had a nice solid game as well with 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists. But a couple of good games from a couple of the Magic players. Nikola Vucevic, 15 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. Evan Fournier had a good shooting night. He was 25 points, 4 assists, and 3 steals. And Aaron Gordon, 20 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Probably not the start Miami were hoping for, trying to get back to the finals. Definitely
not. But, Magic showed up, and maybe it's going to be a sign of things to see this season coming from them. Essentially, those would be their big three. They also have a very nice rookie in, I forget his name.
Cole Anthony.
Yes, who's been amazing so far in preseason. And he's something to look forward for them. He could be a pivotal piece.
Yeah. Miami had 22 turnovers in this game. I'll tell you, Spoelstra will be the first one to tell you can't win games if you're turning the ball over that many times. And in those 22 turnovers, Orlando had 24 fast break points, but you can't.
And I know Miami's a younger team than LA, but we can't forget these guys were playing the finals only 70 days ago, 70 days ago. So it could be, they might be a little bit slow to getting into the season, and we could also see Miami maybe resting a few players. We don't know. It's hard. There's never been this quick of a turnover. So those teams that were in conference finals and finals, we might see them mixing it up a little bit with their rosters. Yeah, we had the Lakers and Miami finish just over 2 months ago, and there are some teams who didn't make the bubble who haven't played for 9 months. So it's I think it was 280 days. Something crazy. So it's going to be different for a lot of these teams coming in. I think some of these teams like Orlando, who made the bubble, didn't make the playoffs though. They did make the playoffs. Got a bit more time probably to gel as a team, meet their new teammates. Miami, I think, has been trying to rest, get ready for this season so they can hopefully make a nice deep run again. Yeah, I'm not scared for Miami. A slip up, whatever. They were the favorites, but Miami's going to come around. That's a tough, hard-nosed team.
Yeah, you can't take too much from the first game of the season. We had a really good game in the Eastern Conference today as well, with Washington heading to Philadelphia, 59-58 to the Wizards at halftime, and the game finished 107 to 113. Russell Westbrook only played 3 quarters, but had 21 points, 11 rebounds, 15 assists, 6 turnovers. Bradley Beal, 31 points, 4 steals, 6 turnovers, and Davis Bertans, 14 points on 4 of 6 3-point shooting. Joel Embiid had a monster game, 29 points, 14 rebounds. Ben Simmons doing a bit of everything as usual, 16 points, 9 rebounds, 17 assists, 2 steals and 3 blocks. Shake Milton had 19 points and was a plus 33 in his time on the floor. And this is what we're talking about, the plus and minus. This one is crazy for me. Danny Green, I think he played about 18 minutes. He shot 1 for 6. He was minus 27 in 18 minutes tonight.
How is that even possible?
That's crazy. Like we're saying, these stats don't mean everything. That's not him getting burnt on every possession, but sometimes these stats, you have to look at these during the game and go, when he's out there, we are getting killed.
For sure. I mean, Danny Green coming off of a kind of rough playoff season with the Lakers, you'd hope those numbers wouldn't be adding up for him. The thing with this game was you cannot, like, the 76ers gave up the Wizards. The Wizards gave up 40 points in the fourth quarter. They were up by double digits.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia blew on in the fourth quarter. It's they're still getting the feeling of playing together with the new players. But I think the Wizards are going to be okay. I mean, as long as you have Bradley Beal taking more shots than Russell Westbrook, they might be a contender to get into the playoffs.
Exactly, and Russell had a pretty good game, to be honest. The turnovers are what going to kill you in the end. I think they had 19 total turnovers for 24 fast break points for Philadelphia. Beal and Russell Westbrook had 6 turnovers. I know you guys would handle the ball. They are going to have turnovers, but 12 turnovers between your 2 best players is a little bit too much. But the Wizards, I think defense is going to be an issue for them most of the season. But Russell looked pretty good. He makes his teammates better when he's playing at his best, like driving into the lane, kicking out, and then the ball keeps moving. So no, it wasn't a bad. I actually thought they were going to get beaten by a little bit more by Philly, but they looked all right, the Wizards today.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they should have won that game. They should have won it.
Yeah, giving 40 points up in a quarter generally isn't great. And you see it happen a lot more in the first quarter these days while teams are starting to fill each other out. But the third quarter is where it seems to be the game. You find out who's going to win that game in the third quarter. And, the Wizards just couldn't compete with them.
I was actually thinking about this yesterday because, I was on NBA Time Crunch where you get like a piece of all the games and then, you can kind of watch like the pivotal moments. And what I noticed in the first 2 nights of basketball is that there's been a lot of score swaying, like big numbers up by 15, then the other team goes up by 5, like massive streaks, which is a little bit unusual. It's been a bit crazy. I don't know if that has to do with, playing in the stadiums without a crowd. There's so many factors now with playing with empty stadiums.
Yeah, it's really weird watching. Like it sounds weird, but I watched a couple of the games yesterday. I watched all the Dallas Phoenix game. I tried to catch the other ones as much as I could while I was at lunch with my girlfriend and her parents, just sneaking my phone under the table. But it's super weird watching the games without fans. Like, I struggle to figure out when a foul's been given. The game just stops. You don't really hear the whistles. So it's just weird. It'll take a little bit to get used to. But yesterday we had the game of the day, and wasn't it a game? We had the Milwaukee Bucks at the Boston Celtics. At halftime, it was 59-64 with the Celtics taking the lead. Final score, 122 to 121. But with a few seconds left, Jason Tatum was getting owned by Giannis on defense. He threw up a Hail Mary step-back 3, which hit glass, bounced in to take the lead. And then Giannis got 2 free throws to finish the game, needed both to tie, hit the first, missed the second, and Milwaukee lost. We'll quickly run through some of the stats in this game. Newcomer Drew Holiday for the Bucks. Great game. 25 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals. Chris Middleton had 27 points, 14 rebounds, and 8 assists. Giannis had 35 points, 13 rebounds, 2 blocks, 7 turnovers, though. Jaylen Brown was the player for the Celtics here. 33 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Jason Tatum, 30 points, 7 rebounds. And Jeff Teague, taking over with Kemba Walker, had 19 points on 4 of 4 shooting from three-point range. Ooh. Great game. Great game.
I think from this game, both teams can take a lot of positive.
Yeah.
Both of the pieces they brought in that are going to be pivotal pieces. Jeff Teague, awesome performance. I think he's going to fit in well with this offense, and he looked great yesterday. And also Drew Holiday, amazing. He was just having a field day going off the left-handed layups. They were just driving him left, but he has no problem. He's very ambidextrous and looked great, to be honest with you.
It just helps Giannis so much. Giannis, one of the biggest issues with Giannis, he struggles to create his own offense. Chris Middleton can do that. Now they have Drew Holiday. So they have 2 guys who can create their own offense and for other people. Giannis can pass as well. So they look dangerous now. Jaylen Brown with Kemba Walker, though, gone. He needed to step up. He needs to step up with no Hayward anymore as well. And that's exactly what he did. The killer here was the Bucks had 16 turnovers. The Celtics only had 6. And the Celtics scored 19 points off those turnovers compared to the 8 the Bucks scored. In such a close game, those turnovers hurt. And Giannis has a penchant for turning the ball over, getting a little bit reckless.
Oh, you know what happened with Giannis yesterday? 4 offensive fouls.
Yeah.
4. That's nuts.
Against those great defensive teams who are happy to put a body in front and take the charge. And the Celtics are one of those teams. They've got some really smart defenders, especially in Tatum and Brown.
Yeah, Tatum and Brown both looked amazing. The last shot, it was good for what do you call it, for the suspense value.
Oh yeah.
It was a bit of a he didn't call glass for sure. I think you were right in saying that he just went a bit high on the jump to get over Giannis.
Yeah.
So he overshot it and he just kissed the glass.
It went in, and that's all that matters.
And also Giannis, what can we say? He choked. You can't when you're an MVP, you can't miss 2 free throws at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're shooting 60, 70%. You make those free throws. That's what big-time players do in big-time moments.
It's funny, we have 3 of, let's say, the top 5 players in the league, Giannis, LeBron, and Luka. One of their biggest weaknesses, all 3 of them, are free throws. And
out of all those, Luka has no excuse. He's such a good shooter. Why can't he shoot free throws?
Yeah, his 3-point percentage isn't great. It takes too many step backs, but he shot 8 of 10 in St. Luca, but we'll get into that in a couple of games. The Bucks bench didn't give them a lot either in this game. I was the one saying a couple of weeks ago that I liked the addition of Bobby Portis, but Bobby Portis seemed to play center, and he got destroyed at center. So I'm a little bit worried if he's supposed to be their main scorer off the bench and also be their center. They're going to get killed in defense off the bench. So they've got a few things to figure out, the Bucks.
Definitely do.
Here's a result that no one was seeing coming. The New Orleans Pelicans at the Toronto/Tampa Bay Raptors. The Raptors were up 57-50 at halftime and got beaten 113-99 by the Pelicans. Brandon Ingram, what a great game. 24 points, 9 rebounds, 11 assists, 3 steals. Zion Williams had 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists. JJ Redick came off the bench with 23 points, 6 of 11 from three-point range. Pascal Siakam was the best player for the Raptors with 20 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. And Kyle Lowry had an 18-point double-double with 10 assists. Oh, good start for the Pelicans.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram looked fire. He looked like a guy who's going to be fear this year. The main thing, like, again, what I was saying with the swinging of the score, 21-point difference in the second half. That's nuts.
It's I think the Raptors will warm into this season. I can't imagine it's easy being away from home, living down there in your own little bubble in Tampa Bay. But pretty impressive start to the season for the Pelicans. The Pelicans, I know it's just one game. They could be the surprise packet of the season this year because I think everyone's expecting Zion to take the jump. They've got some good vets like JJ Redick. Eric Bledsoe had a pretty good game as well. But Brandon Ingram, he's their all-star now. He needs to be their 30 points a game, close, getting a double-double, doing a little of everything.
And I think that's the beauty of it, because Zion doesn't have that pressure of being the go-to guy. He can easily slot into the number 2 position and be like a threat, but not have that weight of carrying the team.
Yeah, shooting killed Toronto in this game. The Pelicans shot 52.5% from the field, and the Raptors shot 42.7%. And on three, it was even bigger disparity. It was 45.2 for the Pelicans and 30.4. I'm pretty sure Van Fleet and Kyle Lowry didn't have their best shooting games. They need to be knocking down threes. Even Baines to knock down a couple for this team to be playing at their best.
For sure.
I'll move into the next game, Serge, and I think anyone watching the screen right now might see Serge's face drop a little bit. We had the
Atlanta. This one. We don't need to talk about this.
Atlanta Hawks went to Chicago. At halftime, it was 83-59 to the Hawks, and the final score was 124-104. Trae Young, what a start to the season. He had 37 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. It was plus 30 for the game. In those 37 points, he only shot 12 times and hit 10 from 12 from the field. Bogdanovic had 15.7 rebounds off the bench. Cam Reddish had 15 points. He started and 6 rebounds. Zach LaVine had 22 points. And Laurie Markin had 21.7 rebounds and 4 assists. But he was a minus 34 for the game, Serge.
Yeah, it was painful to watch, to be honest.
Not the start to the season.
They could have finished this game at halftime and just called it a day. The Bulls, I don't know how they're going to put it together. Their defense looked atrocious. Besides the fact that Trae had an amazing game, he pretty much shot, 80%? But it was, they just need to get more dedicated on defense and just really, fill in those gaps where these players, Atlanta's got a good team. Cam Reddish looked really on fire as well, playing really comfortably. So you can't have those let-ups on defense.
No, and Atlanta were missing Rajon Rondo, Solomon Hill, Chris Dunn, and Clint Capella didn't play either. John Collins started at the center. So they were missing a ton of guys. Not the start the Chicago Bulls were hoping for under their new coach, Billy Donovan. Some disappointed Bulls fans out there. But we'll move on, Serge. I don't want to kick you while you're down for too long. But the next game was San Antonio Spurs started their season by playing the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis. They took a nice lead into halftime, 66-53 the Spurs, and didn't really let up. There was 131-119. I think Memphis got within 8 points with about 5 minutes to go, but the Spurs just put them away. DeMar DeRozan had 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. DeJounte Murray, 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists, and 20 points from Marcus Aldridge, while Ja Morant, 44 points and 9 assists with 1 turnover, and Jonas Valanciunas had 15 points and 13 rebounds. Good start for the Spurs.
Great start for the Spurs. I saw part of this game as well, and they look like they're gelling quite well. It's not surprising because Popovich kind of has his teams always do that well. But the big thing here for me is DeJounte Murray. He looked like very comfortable, very on point. From the other 2 players I expected, but the Spurs, you can't ever count them out.
No, you definitely can't. They were missing Derek White as well. He was injured. He didn't play. Lonnie Walker had a couple of really good dunks. They've got a solid team. They probably need to make a couple of trades like we had a chat about the other day, but they're going to win some games. They have a plethora of really good guards in that back court. Even Patty Mills coming off the bench. So good first win of the season for the San Antonio Spurs. Next up, we had the Detroit at Minnesota. It was 57-56 to Detroit at halftime. Ended up losing the game 111-101 to Minnesota. For Detroit, Josh Jackson had 19 points, 6 rebounds. Derrick Rose, 15 points, 6 assists off the bench. Mason Plumlee had 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. Karl Anthony Towns had 22 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. Malik Beasley, 23 points. D'Angelo Russell came off the bench with 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. And Anthony Edwards had a good debut off the bench, 15 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds. Minnesota kicking off the season right.
Do we know why Russell came off the bench?
I'm not sure. They started Rubio. I'm not 100% sure it was an injury, but I can't imagine that's going to be happening too long. You probably need your best players starting the game.
I mean, I kind of like the idea of both of them playing together. You know,
Yeah, I think Malik Beasley's playing small forward, I believe. So they've got a few guys, so they'll figure out their rotation. I can't imagine it's going to be too long before Anthony Edwards is starting. In a few of the preseason games I've seen him play, he's got a big swag about him. He has a beautiful shot as well. So if his defense can get up a little bit, it won't take long for him.
This game, you know, the score is 10-point difference, but it was very tight towards the end of the game. They were about, I think it was like a tie game, or Detroit was up by 1 with like maybe 2 minutes left, and then you know they just could not knock a shot down in go time.
Listen, so
that's the thing with them. They don't have their starting lineup doesn't have really a go-to guy. Their go-to guy is Derrick Rose, but Derrick Rose is coming off the bench.
Yeah,
it's going to be a different season for them when they're trying to really, you know, plug that new point guard in. But Derrick Rose is going to be the one handling the ball and the one trying to score when it's the most, you know, like important time.
Yeah, the stats tell a weird story in this game. Both teams didn't shoot particularly well from three-point range. Detroit shooting 22.9% and Minnesota 26.8%. Low turnover game. Detroit only had 12 and Minnesota had 11. But Minnesota shot 24 from 28 from the free throw line. Detroit got to the free throw line 8 times and only hit 3 shots. That is a 21-point difference at the free throw line in a 10-point game. Either they're not penetrating enough. I'm not sure what was going on in this game, but you can't win games by taking 8 free throws and only making 40% of them.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's
professionals. Let's knock down some 3-pointers. It's gonna be a weird season to see how everything goes down with Minnesota. You know, Karl-Anthony Towns going through some tough times. He the other day was quoted as saying that he's lost his soul, like he's just not been the same.
Yeah,
he's a family members and particularly his mother.
Yeah.
So I feel for the guy, but let's hope he finds motivation to turn it around.
Yeah, 100%. The next game, we had an absolute cracker that ended up in overtime. Sacramento at Denver. Denver led 60-53 at halftime. Went to overtime where the final score was 124 to 122 with Sacramento winning. This game had a crazy finish. It was end-to-end nonstop with people missing shots and shots getting blocked. And right at the end of the game, Harrison Barnes got a steal. He tried to dunk it, got blocked, and with the last tip of the game, Buddy Hield tips it in, rattles around the rim, and Sacramento win their opening game of the season with a buzzer beater. Harrison Barnes, 21 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Buddy Hield, 5'11" from three-point range for 22 points. Darren Fox had 21 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. The Joker, Nikola Jokic, 29 points, 15 rebounds, 14 assists, 3 blocks. Michael Porter Jr. had 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Will Barton had 16 points. Wow, Sacramento getting off to a flyer.
Jokic, monster game. Absolutely monster. But gives up a turnover and loses the game for that.
Yeah. They had a couple turnovers in the last couple of minutes, which just killed them a little bit in the end. They didn't shoot particularly well from three-point range, I think 27.6. And a part of that was Murray had an absolute shocking shooting night. And they're going to need Jamal Murray to be scoring 20-plus points to win most games this year.
I mean, that's expected, right? What did he average last year? Somewhere around there, or over 20.
Yeah. So it's a good start.
Michael Porter Jr., living up to all the expectations. Had a really nice game as well.
Yeah, he's going to get the minutes. He's going to get the shots. He's such a good 3-level scorer. He can get to the rim, shoot the 3, get to the free throw line. He's going to have a great year this year. He'll, I don't know, will he? Maybe he'll take over that second scorer. Maybe Jamal Murray might concentrate a little bit more on passing, but probably not if Nikola Jokic is going to rack up 14 assists.
That was nuts.
Yeah. Moving on, next game, the Jazz went to Portland to versus the Trailblazers. This game was never really close. 65-46 at halftime to the Jazz and 120-100 to finish this game. Donovan Mitchell had 20 points, 5 assists. Rudy Gobert had 20 points, 17 rebounds. Joe Ingles off the bench had 14 points, 5 rebounds and 7 assists. CJ McCollum had 23 points. Melo had 15 points, 4 rebounds. Enes Kanter had 14 points and 8 rebounds. But the game, Damian Lillard had 9 points, 4 assists, 1 of 7 from three-point range, and was held scoreless in the first half for the first time since 2014, Sergio.
Wow. Yeah, I was looking at this, and something had to be wrong with him, because what's up with Lillard not scoring? That's his main thing, to not score for 20 minutes in the first half. It's just insane. Yeah, the Jazz definitely came ready to play. Portland seemed a bit off as a team. But the positives from Portland, Cantor had a nice game, and it's going to be good to see him like put up some numbers for them, some rebounds and points, and Melo, year 18, can still score.
His job is just to shoot these days, and the guy can shoot. That's what we used to see of him playing for the States in FIBA World Cups and the Olympics. Just give Miller the ball, let him shoot. Don't let him do too much. He can dribble if someone closes in too fast and take a shot, but it's a good game from him. Crazy to see this game. They lost by 20. They didn't have the worst shooting night. They went 14-17 from the free throw line, 36.4% and 40.2% from the field. Jazz beat them everywhere. Only had 6 turnovers in the game, Portland. So just poor shooting really robbed them in this game. And Damian Lillard, who averaged nearly 30 points or whatever last year, 9 points. The Trailblazers aren't going to win a lot of games. They don't have.
And that's the difference in the score at 20 points. Yeah. Those are the 20 points that we were expecting from Lillard.
Yeah, they need McCollum and Lillard to score to win most games. They both need to be at least in the 20 because they haven't got a lot of great scorers coming off the bench. Well, Robert Covington's not a great scorer. Derek Jones not a great scorer. Yusuf Nurkic has never really shown us that he's a 20-plus point scorer. So, yeah, a disappointing start for the Trailblazers, but I'm sure they'll bounce back. And the last game yesterday, disappointing one for me to watch as well. It was Dallas at Phoenix. Dallas were down at halftime, 45-53. They closed the gap in the second half, but they struggled in the last few minutes of the game. They lost 102-106. Luka had 32 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 0 of 6 from three-point range. Dorian Finney-Smith had 11 points and 8 rebounds, and Jalen Brunson had 12 points and 4 assists. Devin Booker, 22 points, 5 rebounds. Mikal Bridges, 18 points and 7 rebounds. Cam Johnson, 15 points and 5 rebounds. Phoenix, good start at home for them. Chris Paul had a pretty good game. Not a lot of scoring, but he did most of his work in the clutch where they needed him.
Yeah, I like the team. I liked how they looked, the movement. Chris Paul, I think he only had like 9 points, but there are a lot of intangibles that he brings to a team and to their offense, especially. I think this team's going to be solid this year, and they're definitely going to grab one of those spots, like 6 to 8, for the playoffs. Luka, to me, and I could be wrong. He looked a bit sluggish to me, a bit like almost a bit like carrying a bit of extra weight.
Yeah, I think he does the Jokic. I think he's going to round into his shape this season. He shot the ball terribly. 0 from 6 from three-point range. Dallas had a team shot 24.3%. You're not going to win too many games like that. But Luka, once he realized his shot wasn't falling, he just started going to the rim, and he's pretty much impossible to stop. Once he's downhill with these spins and Euro steps, he was 8 of 10 from the free throw line. But Devin Booker, he missed a couple of free throws to kind of seal the game, kept giving Dallas a couple of chances to score at the end and make it a closer game. But, Dallas definitely missing Porzingis. Porzingis, I think people forget how important he is in this Dallas team. Even though Doncic can go for 40 points any game, you need that second threat, and Dallas really didn't have that. Dorian Finney-Smith, I think, was the second leading scorer with 11 points. So, you need someone else in the 20s or the high teens to win some of these games.
For sure. They lacked a bit of offense. But Dallas is, I'm not worried. They have a great team, and they're going to get it together, especially when Porzingis comes back. You have those guys, which are 2 guys who can drop 40 whenever, they have a good night. Most teams don't have 2 options that can just go nuts.
Beautiful. Well, that was the first group of games. And now we said we were going to do this before the season started. Things have been a little bit hectic recently, guys, but we have one game to maybe change our mind on a few of these awards, but we're going to go through our awards and our season predictions. We're going to start with the sixth man, the defensive player of the year, the rookie of the year, most improved, MVP, first time All-Star, the coach of the year. And then Sergio and I will run through our top 10 for the East and the West. And then we'll both give you an idea who we think might win this year. But Sergio, I'll start off and then you just follow me after every question. Sixth man of the year, I've got Karis LeVert from the Brooklyn Nets. I think he's going to come off the bench this year with Dinwiddie starting, and he's going to see plenty of minutes. He's going to get plenty of shots, and I think he's going to be a great key to this Brooklyn Nets team.
Yeah, that's a hard one to argue. I had here Derrick Rose, a personal favorite, and I know he's going to get a lot of minutes with a young point guard starting for Detroit. But it's really going to depend. The sixth man of the year always goes kind of like the MVP in the sense that if the team performs well, they're going to get the award, kind of. You know, you don't see a sixth man coming off of a team that's mediocre. So I'm not going to argue with you too much there, but let's say Rose's numbers are going to be worthy of at least being in the conversation.
Okay, so are we penciling you in for Rose for the sixth man?
Yes.
Beautiful. Defensive player of the year. I've got Anthony Davis. I think this year he's going to make this award his own. He's going to come out and just stop everybody. Who have you got, Serge?
I got Gobert. Oh. He got that big money, and hopefully that motivates him even further to, he's always been in there in the race. Yeah. I think he's going to go through this year again.
Yeah, good pick. He's won twice before, and again, he's got to prove himself. He's the highest earning center of all time now, so you better be swatting some shots into the crowd or to the seats. Rookie of the year, who you got for rookie, Serge? I've got Anthony Edwards from the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I've been going back and forth after every preseason game, and when I decided on this was before it last night. I had LaMelo because I really liked his showing in the preseason. He looked a little bit off yesterday, and Cole from Magic looks great. But I'm going to stick with my gut, and I'm going to go with LaMelo.
LaMelo, nice. Yeah, good choice. He'll warm into the season, I think, a few more than other people. Most improved. This is an interesting one. There's lots of guys that could be in the conversation this year, but I'm going to pick one from your team. I got Kobe White. I think he's going to start this year. He's going to earn a lot more minutes. He didn't have a great shooting night last night, but had 9 and 7. I think he's going to be averaging 16, 17 by the end of the season, and he'll have his name somewhere up there for most improved. Serge, yourself?
I think that's a good call. Yeah, he had a pretty bad night yesterday, but I think he's going to have a great season. I have Tyler Hero, and here's the thing.
Ooh.
His regular season last year was good, but his numbers really improved in the playoff season. So that's the impression that people live on him right now. But this award is given from regular season numbers to regular season numbers. So I think he's really going to have higher numbers this year, and he's going to have a bigger part in Miami. So I look for him to get the award.
Yeah, nice pick. Yeah, definitely. I don't think what he did in the bubble and the playoffs really counts towards his season last year. So I can imagine he's going to be taking some more shots and have a bigger offensive role in the Miami team. So let's switch it up for the next three. The MVP, the first-time All-Star and coach. I'll let you go first. Who have you got for MVP this season?
I'm going with the three-peat. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Wow.
And why? Because of a lot of factors. I was really looking through stats the other day, and his stats are amazing. All of the advanced analytics, the traditional analytics, it's mind-blowing. I mean, what this guy produces, his output in 30 minutes only averaging per game is ridiculous. It's something that you haven't seen before. His PER is Jordan levels, like Jordan's best season. That's like where he hangs around, like better than LeBron's best season, better than Kobe's best season. It's, so this guy he's also, I think, the face of the NBA going forward. LeBron's got a few more years left, and they need someone who's got LeBron numbers up there in championships, which he's still got to get those under his belt. But I'm going with Giannis for the three-peat that hasn't happened since Larry Bird, mid-'80s. Even Michael Jordan didn't get a three-peat.
Wow, it's a good pick. He's going to have another a good year. The question with Giannis is always the playoffs, but this is a regular season award, so
Exactly.
who's to say he's not going to kill it over 70 games again? This is out of all of these awards, this was the hardest one for me. My heart tells me Luka Doncic because he's going to have to carry the team. But I'm going to go. I've switched a few times. I'm going to go with the pick I had a couple of days ago, and this is on relying him playing a lot of games. I've got Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant for me is going to monster this season. I think Kevin Durant is one of those guys. He likes to prove things to people. He throws shade and he's creating burner accounts and all these things in the past. But this year, I think defensively he's going to be a monster. But he missed a few shots the other night. I think that he will be amazing this year. And I think Brooklyn are going to do really well, which we'll have a chat in a couple of minutes about. But I've got Kevin Durant as my MVP this year.
I like that pick, and I could root for that because Durant, I feel he's gotten a raw deal with. Well, I mean, not a raw deal. He did join a team that was 73-9. So people don't really kind of put championships with an asterisk next to his name. So it'd be great to see him really perform and be the star of the team. And I think he's going to be allowed that. If you listen to Kyrie Irving speak after the first game, how he realized that he's done playing hero ball, he's done having to overshoot, and he wants more of a team game. So I think that's going to allow for Durant to play his game in the best situation that he's ever been in.
Yeah, I think he's in such a great spot this year with the team they have as well. Sergio, move on to who have you got for Coach of the Year?
Tyrone.
Ty Lue, nice. Yeah, I have a feeling the Clippers are going to be very good this year. Very, very good.
Yeah, I think so. Also, in comparison to Doc Rivers, where I think and Doc Rivers is a great coach, not to bag him in any sense, but he lacked a bit of coaching skills last year. Mm-hmm. And also controlling a team, giving too much time off, too much preference, and here and there. And Tyronn Lue's not that kind of guy. He's been one to yell at LeBron and Kyrie to shut up that he's the coach. He's a guy who doesn't care how famous you are. He's going to be the coach and he's going to run the team. And I think that's going to translate, and he's my pick.
That's a good pick. I've got an interesting one. First-time coach. Steve Nash is going to win Coach of the Year for me this year. I just think Brooklyn are going to have a great season. I don't know how much of that's going to be Nash's doing. He has a great roster, but I think it's one of those years. 2020 has been such a crazy year. Storylines. I think Steve Nash, even though Curry says he's the coach, KD's the coach, Spencer Dinwiddie's the coach, everyone's the coach. Steve Nash is the coach, and I think he's going to win Coach of the Year this year. We'll move on, Serge. Unless we're going to say something.
I was just going to say Nash. I thought about that the other day too, because Nash has really fallen into a situation very similar to what reminds me of Steve Kerr's first season. Mm-hmm. As a coach, he just fell into a really good position. So, but also people forget there was a lot of complaints in the NBA when he got given the position of head coach for the Brooklyn Nets. A lot of people were saying, hey, there's not a lot of Black African-American coaches interviewed for this position. There was a lot of buzz from the media. But the reality is Steve Nash is a two-time MVP. The guy is a basketball savant. So I think your pick's good, and that actually might happen for sure.
Yeah. Well, Serge, let's move on. Let's go through the East and the West. I'm going to give you how I think the East is going to run from 1 to 10. So that's including the teams that are going to make the play-in game. In number 1 in the East, I have the Nets. Number 2, I have the Bucks. Number 3, I have the 76ers. Number 4, I have the Boston Celtics. Number 5, I have the Miami Heat. Number 6, I have the Toronto Tampa Bay Raptors. Number 7, I've got the Wizards. Number 8, I've got the Pacers. Number 9, I've got the Hawks. And number 10, I've got the Orlando Magic.
Okay. Yeah. I'm looking at your list right now. I'm thinking where I think there could be a bit of difference. I think the 76ers, I don't see them that high. I think that Boston's going to be higher, and I also think Miami's going to be higher. I'm plugging the 76ers in at 5th.
So 76ers go to 5th for you, okay?
Yeah, and the Wizards, depending on how the chemistry goes with Beal and Westbrook, they could be below the Pacers.
Below the Pacers. So who you got at number 1 in the East? Who's winning the Eastern Conference this year? In the regular season?
The Nets.
The Nets, yep. Then who you got, Serge?
Sorry?
Who you got after the Nets?
Oh, Bucks.
Who's
Then
coming?
I have Boston.
Boston.
Sorry. So I have Nets, the Bucks, Boston. Then I have the Heat. Then I have the 76ers in 5th. Then we have the Raptors in 6th. Pacers 7, Wizards 8. And then I'm gonna go Hawks and Magic as well, like you. Looking out.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do it like this then, Serge. Before we move to the East, who wins the Eastern Conference Finals this year and goes to the playoffs for you?
I'm gonna go Bucks.
Bucks. Okay. Finally getting there to the chip. I've got the Nets. I think they are going to, in the first season, they are going to be off to the finals. We'll get into the West now. Before we finish up, guys, I have number 1, the Los Angeles Clippers. Number 2, the Denver Nuggets. Number 3, the Los Angeles Lakers. Number 4, the Dallas Mavericks. Number 5, the Utah Jazz. Number 6, the Phoenix Suns. Number 7, the Portland Trailblazers. Number 8, the Golden State Warriors. Number 9, the Pelicans. And number 10, squeezing in, this is where it got hard. I think Memphis, once they get Jaren Jackson Jr. back, will win enough games to take that spot.
Wow, yeah. I mean,
it's a little bit nuts this year.
The West is the hardest one for me. There's so many teams that could be up there. I think the Clippers do have the hunger. I went with the Clippers first as well. I do have, the difference I have with you is I have the Lakers second and I have Denver third.
Okay. I feel like most people are pretty secure about those top 3 teams.
For sure. The Mavs could be in there. It's just going to depend on when Porzingis comes back and how healthy he is straight away. So going into the fourth, I have the fifth position. I have the Suns, and then I have the Jazz. Then we have the Blazers. I have the Pelicans sneak in for 8, and I have the Warriors 9.
Oh,
and
wow.
also Memphis at 10.
Wow, so that's Dallas coming forth as well. Well, we'll post these guys up on Facebook. We'll get them out so we can have a look. I'm sure there'll be a big bet coming at the end of the year to see who gets the most of these right. So, Serge, who's winning the West for you?
I hate to say it. The Lakers.
I have the exact same. So you have a Milwaukee Lakers final and I have a Brooklyn Lakers final. Who wins the 2020-21 championship, Sergio?
The Bucks.
The Bucks are the winners, and I have the Brooklyn Nets as winners. We both think the Lakers are going to lose in the final, so big call there. That's it, Serge. Those are fine. We've got our predictions done. We've run through all the teams in the league, had a chat about all the news. The season started. We have Christmas Day is right now for me, but one more sleep for you, and you wake up to 5 amazing basketball games. Quickly, Serge, let's have another little cheeky shot of tequila bet. Let's run through the games that we've got tomorrow. Let's see who we're picking for these games. So we'll go one at a time. You get to pick. I get to pick first. Serge, who have you got? Pelicans, Heat.
Heat.
Heat?
Yeah.
We're also going to go the Heat. I think away, it might be a little bit too much of Pelicans. Warriors, Bucks.
Good teams don't play 2 bad games in a row.
Yeah. Warriors, Bucks.
Oof, that's a tough one, Bucks.
Yeah, I've got Bucks as well. Nets, Brooklyn. Man, there's some good games.
Sorry,
Nets, Brooklyn. Nets, Boston.
I'm going to go Nets.
Wow, nice. Very nice pick. I'm also going to go the Nets. I think one of these games is going to be different between us, hopefully. Mavericks, Lakers.
Mavs, baby, Mavs.
Oh, Serge, this is where I'm going against you, and I'm going to regret it if I have to do a shot of tequila going against my Dallas Mavericks. I just think that the Lakers, that's such a shit show on opening night. I think they'll beat Dallas in the next one, but he's hoping for another triple-double duel between LeBron and Luka. And to finish off the Christmas Day bonanza, the Clippers and the Nuggets.
Nuggets.
All right, we've got a couple different. I'm going to Clippers on this one as well. So, Serge, that's our bets for the next game. Merry Christmas to everyone listening, wherever you're coming from. Serge, have a great Christmas. We'll see if we can do a pod at the end of Christmas or Boxing Day. But Merry Christmas, guys. Thanks for listening again. Remember, listen, like, subscribe on YouTube, join our Facebook group. Sergio, any messages for Christmas for everyone?
Yeah, Merry Christmas to South America, to Chile, where all my family is, a lot of my friends in Australia, and thanks for listening, guys, and hopefully you guys have a great Christmas, and we'll catch up soon.
Yeah, definitely. Merry Christmas to all my family in Australia and Portugal. My dad's in hospital at the moment. Unfortunately, we can't see him because of lockdown. Hope you have a good day, Freddie. Thanks, guys. We'll see you again soon. Sergio, Merry Christmas, guys. Ho, ho, ho. Peace.
See you later, buddy.